when I think about wealth and power and things like that, I make a clear distinction between power that I'm borrowing from somebody else versus power that's actually mine. That's it. I think that that's a distinction I don't think we make enough of. I think that, for example, we are tempted to put labels on ourselves and say, I'm an executive vice president at General Electric, so that makes me important. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the problem is that if they decide that they don't want you anymore, then you're losing a piece of your self-esteem. You're losing a piece of your identity from that. And then also on top of that, my question would be, when you get up every day and you're in that environment, how do you feel? Do you really feel like this is a place that you would be even if you weren't making any money, or do you just tolerate this because you need to be in the space in order to feel like you are an important human being? And I would just say that you are important regardless. I think that things like being a great father and a great mother are undervalued assets. I think that anybody who's really pouring into their kids, you're really pouring into that $1 million, $1 billion empire that's yours. And so I just think we need to think about those things, right? Instead of just always thinking that having the fancy job makes you special. I've had a lot of fancy jobs. I'm a college professor. I've had fancy jobs before, but you can't pass a fancy job down to your children. Your kids don't, when you die at your desk, your kids are not going to inherit that job. So what is actually yours? Then it might just be a few shares of stock. It might be some real estate. It might be a little business that you've been working on with your wife for the last 20 years, or just something, right? And this creates a power base. When you have a base, it's much harder for people to imperialize you or to colonize you. When you have a base, it's much harder for people to economically threaten you. It's much harder for them to destabilize you. Right? So the question is, what is your base? What is your base? And maybe a way to measure your base would be to say, what if they took all this away from me? What if they fired me from my job tomorrow? What do I have? What else do I have that's actually mine that can't be taken away from me? And I think we have to ask ourselves that question. And so when you're talking about what you're gonna invest in, I choose to invest in things that can't be taken away from me as opposed to investing in things that will allow me to be part of somebody's group. Because I'm gonna just tell you the truth. I don't hate white people, but I'm mad at y'all a little bit. I'm mad because you claim to be my friend, but you won't acknowledge my pain. You claim to want to be my ally, but you won't talk about the torture that my family has gone through with the men who've been incarcerated. You got to understand when you talk about incarceration, oh my Lord. My biological father went to prison. My little brother went to prison. Yeah, I wasn't raised with him, but my little brother went to prison. My mentor, who was my basically like my older brother, he was my uncle. He went to prison, and I saw what it did to those men. Do you understand? So this idea that somehow I'm supposed to forget about all that, it's really hard for me to do. I can't just act like everything's okay. And the black women who love us are the ones who understand what I just said, and I appreciate y'all 100%. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking before I talk too much. And I hope you got the point. Again, you don't have to agree with everything that I said. I said a lot. But I would encourage you, when you think about this as an economic lesson, let's talk about the pure economic side of it. Number one is, when you are using your money is your power. I would encourage you to apply your power in ways that are going to give you the benefits that you're looking for. Apply it to the people that are going to that matter the most to you. Also, when you talk about these elections, they're all driven by money. So if you want to understand what's happening in American politics, just pay attention to the money. And this is an area of where capitalism has really, people talk about saving the democracy. You ain't gonna save the democracy. The democracy's gone. It's gone. When they started letting this much money into politics, oh, that murdered your democracy. Nowadays, democracy is decided by dollar bills. That is it. It's about that money. So while you cannot influence the world with the amount of money that's in the black community, it's very hard to do. You can influence your world. You get your money right. You create some financial security, multiple streams of income, basic stuff like that. You can at least stop people from colonizing you. Where they take all your children. They got your children working 40 hours for this person, and the other child's working 40 hours for that person, and you out here scrambling and stressed out and worried about whether or not you're going to lose your job. Well, financial security gives you the ability to feel secure. And when you feel secure, you're not as afraid. And that gives you courage. And when you get courage, you have the ability to go fight for freedom. You think that I think about this. The things that I say, I've had so many thousands of times where people say, you know, Dr. Boyce, you say the stuff that nobody else, everybody's thinking, but everybody's scared to say it. Do you know what allows me to say that? I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. What allows me to say the things that other people are scared to say is twofold. One, I learned to love myself, and when you love yourself, you ain't scared to make a mistake because everybody makes mistakes. When you love yourself, you know that your voice deserves to be heard. Ain't nobody's voice more important than mine or less important. When you love yourself, you're okay with even saying things, even if you look a little silly. I don't care. Y'all, maybe this person doesn't love me, but I love me, and that's all right. That's the first piece, and the second piece is I'm financially free. I have enough economic independence that I don't care how mad people get. Whatever. If I think it's true, I'm gonna say it. And I didn't ask anybody's permission to talk to you today. There's nobody I had to run get clearance from or make sure it's okay, make sure it wasn't gonna offend anybody. No, no, I can just I'm gonna finish up this conversation and probably go take a nap, and I don't need permission to do that either. So when you have financial security and financial freedom, it's a tool. It's a tool that gives you freedom to really live God's purpose, whatever that is for you. And you got to figure out what that's supposed to be. But I that's what I want because so many people cannot live their true purpose in life because they got bills to pay or they're scared of the financial consequences of their version of the truth. So if we really want this thing called freedom, we're gonna have to incorporate economics into that conversation. If you talk about freedom and you're not talking about money, then you're not talking about freedom at all. Not in America anyway. You gotta have your economics straight so you can at least make sure that as you're out here getting involved in crazy stuff, at least you know you can go home and eat and you got a place to live, right? Because that's the greatest way that people have controlled and colonized you. That starts from birth. They start that training from birth because they needed to integrate you into the economic system so they could extract labor from you, extract your talent from you, extract everything that they could from you and give you nothing back. So they not only put you in a position of extreme economic vulnerability, but they put you in a situation where low vibrational consciousness is very popular. And so you don't even understand why you feel like a slave every day. You don't even know what's going on. You don't even know you were born in a cage. So consciousness is absolutely critical for anybody that wants to be free. Consciousness and finances. If you have those things, if you have financial security and some degree of consciousness, I believe that gives you access to a type of freedom most people only dream about. They talk about it, but they don't know what it really looks like. They don't. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you for listening. The training on Sunday, I'm gonna go through in extreme detail 8 financial illnesses that I see on a regular basis and how to identify them and cure them. And I'm gonna send you guys a link to join. It's gonna be Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And so if you'd like to receive that link to join on Sunday, make sure you're on the text list. You can get on the text list by texting the word morning, MORNING, to 87948. I'm going to send it out this afternoon. Text morning to 87948. Also, my book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can get a copy at drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com.